FM.
Well, the 50th season of Saturday Night Live kicks off this weekend. The first promo's out, and you get to see a lot of the historic and legendary not-for-prime-time players in this one.
50 years of hosts.
Excuse me?
50 years of laughs. 50 years of memories.
Yes, fresh off her Emmy win, Jean Smart gets the hosting duties. Jelly Roll, the musical guest. You'll get 5 straight live shows to start up the 50th season. Ariana Grande, Michael Keaton, Nate Bargatze, and John Mulaney are going to be your guest hosts. A lot of good people coming up.
Entertainment on 1010 Wins is sponsored by Shulman and Hill, New York's injury lawyers.
Go to hurtny.com.
That's hurtny.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't...
Welcome back to another episode of Documenting History, where our mission is to record history for future generations.
Having 41,000 items in stock and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers, believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/critic and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, the city never sleeps. You know that. And quite frankly, neither do we. New York's one and only all-news station, here for you 24 hours a day.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We are at 66 degrees, cloudy skies at 7:40 on this Thursday, September 26th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. An indictment comes down from the feds on Mayor Adams last night.
These charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
The mayor says he's being persecuted for his public comments on the feds' handling of the migrant crisis. As he becomes the first sitting mayor to be indicted, many city officials are calling for Mayor Adams to step down. We'll check in with Glenn Schuck at Gracie Mansion. Governor Hochul, the only person who could force Mayor Adams to step aside. Will she do it? Who's next in line to take over if it happens? Reaction to the mayor's indictment came quickly as the news broke. Mary Lynn Buckley's got the latest from residents on the Upper East Side. Hurricane Helene bringing dangerous storm surge and winds over 100 miles per hour. That's coming to Florida's Big Bend as Helene is set to hit that area later on tonight. Checking sports, Yanks lost to the Orioles, still need one more to clinch the division. Mets, Braves also rained out tonight. AccuWeather, humid, warm, mostly cloudy today, high around 75 degrees. Winds News Time, 7:41. Traffic and transit, we get you back out to those roads. What do you see, Karen Stewart?
You know, today's another Gridlock Alert Day. Gridlock Alert Day every day this week because the UN General Assembly is in session. But the UN General Assembly has nothing on the RFK Triborough Bridge, which has been a misery, the bane of our existence, since right out the gate this morning in the 4 o'clock hour. The city-bound RFK Triborough Bridge on the Queenspan remains closed. It's been closed since 4:10 this morning. And we are jammed from back on the westbound side of the Grand Central Parkway, traveling back from Citi Field up the Whitestone Expressway. So the Whitestone Expressway off the Whitestone Bridge is heavily delayed to the Northern Boulevard, onto the Grand Central Parkway approach, and out into the east and west legs of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. What a nightmare. And the Bronx span is backed up, backing up the Bruckner from all the way back to the Bruckner interchange, and backing up the southbound Deegan from all the way back to the Cross Bronx Expressway. That's what this closure of the city-bound RFK Triborough Queens span is doing to us right now in Queens. And the Hudsons aren't much better, but hey, they're open. We've got an hour at the Lincoln, an hour at the Holland, and we've got 35 to 40 now inbound for the George Washington Bridge. That's both levels. Our next report's in less than 10. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, Mayor Adams has become the first sitting mayor of New York City to be indicted. The news coming down last night, the mayor indicted by a grand jury on charges connected with this federal probe that has seen his police commissioner go, the city's school chancellor retire, and other members of his administration stepping down. The indictment itself expected to be unsealed today. Our Juliet Papa with the very latest on the mayor's troubles.
There is a report that Adams is being charged with acting as an unregistered foreign agent for taking actions in his official capacity after receiving donations from foreign nationals. And I actually posed this question to the mayor on Tuesday and had asked him if in fact he believed he was being perceived as working on behalf of foreign governments. And he sloughed it off. He basically said, no, wherever I go and wherever I travel, I talk about New York and New Yorkers and the work I am doing on behalf of New Yorkers.
As we said, the indictment expected to be unsealed today by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Word this morning is that the mayor will surrender to authorities next week. Mayor Adams says he will not step down if he's charged.
Several dozen members of the media outside the gates of Gracie with a police car blocking the driveway as we wait to see what the mayor's next move will be. In this minute-long pre-recorded video, Eric Adams insisting he's not quitting.
Many may say I should resign because I cannot manage the city while fighting the case. I can also understand how everyday New Yorkers will be concerned that I cannot do my job while I face accusation.
Political consultant Bradley Tusk telling us he expects many resignations now in the coming days within the administration. He's not surprised by the federal charges.
This was very foreseeable, right? Eric Adams was investigated for corruption when he was state senator. He was investigated for a different corruption issue when he was borough president. During the debate, Andrew Yang was very clear in warning the voters that this would likely happen, and it did happen.
In the mayor's words, the federal charges are all based on lies. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, 92.3 FM, outside Gracie Mansion.
And as you can imagine, elected officials in the city reacting swiftly to the federal indictment, many calling for the mayor to step down.
City Comptroller Brad Lander has been wanting to be mayor for some time now. And so as soon as word of Eric Adams' indictment spread, Landers pounced. He immediately said the mayor should step down because he claimed for at least the past 2 weeks, nothing's been getting done at City Hall.
Right now, that trust is broken and that focus isn't there. Mayor Adams deserves due process and to be presumed innocent, but New Yorkers deserve a mayor whose full focus is on solving their problems, and they don't have it right now.
If Adams did resign, the interim mayor would be the city's public advocate, Jumaane Williams. He stopped short of calling for Adams to quit, but did say he's focusing on making sure City Hall government is stable and can be trusted. Others who do want the mayor to resign immediately are State Senator John Liu and Zelnor Myrie, who is running for mayor. Carol Diori at 1010 wins at 92.3 FM at City Hall.
And with the word of the indictment of Mayor Adams coming down last night, folks on the Upper East Side were quick to weigh in on the news.
Mayor Adams' indictment is sealed, but the gates to Gracie Mansion sure aren't. We've seen at least 6 vehicles going in and out of Gracie Mansion, including 2 SUVs similar to the vehicles that the mayor typically is driven around the city in. Upper East Siders say they're not surprised one bit.
I feel like he started off strong and that he had very good intentions. I lived across the street, so I was a little curious though when he started going out to parties and wasn't coming home until like at 12, 1 o'clock.
It just seems like it's happening a lot lately, and I feel like New York's really corrupt, so. And there's really been a lot of corruption before here, so it doesn't really surprise me.
NYPD officers have put up barricades at every entrance and exit at Gracie Mansion, and we do see officers both inside and outside the property patrolling. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM at Gracie Mansion.
And for continuing coverage of the federal investigation into Mayor Adams, stay with 1010 wins on 92.3 FM. Wins news time 7:47. All right, we got to talk about Hurricane Helene. She's already hammered Cancun with high winds and heavy rains. Helene continues to gain strength this morning as she heads towards the Florida coast. Dangerous conditions and a high storm surge are expected throughout the region.
Not just the surge, but it's the high winds, destructive winds across parts of the Big Bend and Panhandle could cause widespread power outages and damage. And then those winds are going to sweep right into parts of Georgia as well, where we still have hurricane warnings into central Georgia because this is such a widespread, large, and fast-moving system.
That's meteorologist Melissa Griffin. The folks in Franklin County, Florida, not taking any chances.
At noon Wednesday, all of Franklin County went under a mandatory evacuation order. Senator Scott and Sheriff Smith met with other local officials.
You rebuild that house, it might be a pain in the rear, but guess what? Your life's more important. your kid's life more important, your grandkid's life more important, your parents' life is more important.
They're imploring folks in Franklin County and throughout the state to take this storm seriously.
You have to assume you're going to lose power. These roads get clogged up, the bridges, you get flooding, there's debris all over the place.
That's Austin Maida reporting for us this morning. Again, Helene expected to hit Florida tonight as a Category 4 storm. They're talking about winds that could reach up to 130 miles per hour. To the war now in the Middle East, the United States, France, and other allies yesterday calling for an immediate 21-day ceasefire along the Israel-Lebanon border to all for negotiations and cooler heads to prevail. Here's President Biden arriving back at the White House last night.
Put out a statement for a 21-day ceasefire along the Israeli-Lebanese border. We're able to generate significant support from Europe as well as the Arab nations.
Lebanon reporting Israeli attacks have killed hundreds of people and displaced 500,000 more. Israel says it is targeting only Hezbollah fighters and infrastructure. Hezbollah sending a missile into Tel Aviv yesterday that was intercepted by Israeli Defense Forces. Presidential campaign, it's the economy that's been the central focus of the candidates this week. Donald Trump taking a break today. He's back with 2 events tomorrow in Michigan. Today, Kamala Harris and President Biden meeting with Ukraine President Zelensky in Washington.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Documenting History. Thank you for your support, for your views, for your subscriptions, and we'll see you on the next episode.